Good morning, everybody. First of all, welcome to our first Empire Builder Total Hierarchy Zoom conference call. I appreciate your time getting on here this morning, and I'm very excited about what we have to share with you today. You know, we talk about, the company's been talking about turning adversity into opportunity, and I think this is a perfect example of what our company does. We're not talking about taking advantage of a person during this. We're not talking about gouging or people shutting down their businesses because it's safer to shut down their business. Every one of us is at our home right now or in our office by ourselves without a team of people. One of the things that we're doing is it's not business as usual. It's better than usual. That's the way I look at it. I think we're going to look back in this situation with the coronavirus, and we talk about in the Bible it says BC. I think this is going to be BC for Primerica, which is before Corona. I think what you'll find is you'll have a business that took off and people could grow and build a business face to face, nose to nose, toes to toes. And I think also what you're going to have is you're going to have an opportunity for people to utilize how to accelerate utilizing media like this, utilizing YouTube, utilizing Zoom, utilizing the internet. I'm very excited about the way a lot of our leaders stepped up. You'll see this is our panelists, this is our elite team. These are the players that make $300,000 and above. And I know we got a bunch of you on the phone and been in Primerica for a long time. And we got some new players. For those of you I haven't met yet, my name's Keith Otto. I've been with the company for 32 years. And my background is I was a plumber and I taught a karate school, and I had no financial interest, no financial experience, or no business experience. And because we use the system, I heard someone say not too long ago that if you take a jigsaw puzzle, right, and you try to put together a jigsaw puzzle, it's very difficult to do. But it's even more difficult if you don't have the picture on the box to follow. What we all have done, each one of us that are on this call that you're going to hear from this morning, took advantage of that jigsaw puzzle, so to speak, the picture, which is the system, which is the Primerica system. And we've built a company within a company. One of the things you're going to find is as each person speaks today, you're going to find out that each person had a different background. None of us came to this business with Primerica experience. Every one of them had a different background, did different things for a living. And the thing that's so exciting is they took advantage of this opportunity. There's people in the midst of crisis right now. There's people that are absolutely stepping their game up, and there's people that absolutely are taking advantage and adding value in people's lives. Now more than ever, what we do is so important. And I said it to the vice president team on our Wednesday conference call, you need to be the loudest voice in people's head. I also said, man, the Japanese word for crisis is also the same word that the Japanese use for opportunity. And anytime there's a crisis, like when Katrina, in New Orleans, what happens is people grew after that. Sandy, Sandy, when the Hurricane Sandy hit up in the Northeast, people grew after that. When you look at what happened with Irma in Florida, there's people who got beat up because of the hurricane, and some of those people grew their incomes $500,000, $600,000, $800,000. But I think what it does is it gives people an awareness. Panic and fear is perfect for the right type of person. I look at what happened Black Monday. Right, when I joined Primerica December of 1987, 2 months prior to that was October of 87, which was Black Monday. And if you look at the market right there, the market took an all-time dip, right? People were panicked, people were concerned. 6 months later, the market was back bigger and better than ever. You look at 9/11, as bad as 9/11 was, and it was a tragedy, I think what it did is it gave people an awareness, man, we're not all invincible, right? We got to make sure we got our financial house in order. Folks, what we do is a noble cause. I truly believe that people need to have a belief, right? And if you don't have a belief, that's your belief. But I think everybody needs to have a belief, which is very, very important. Second thing I think people need to have is proper health. Today, now more than ever, people are thinking about proper health and how to stay healthy. The third thing that people worry about, stress out about, freak out about, lose their marbles about is money. And it's not money, it's lack of money. And if you look at that third thing, that's what we do for people. We talk about bringing Wall Street to Main Street. It's not the wealthy people right now. In fact, yeah, their business is down a little bit on paper, but those guys have resources. The average person that doesn't have resources right now is struggling financially. I look at it and I say all the time, it's the water around the boat. It's the water around the boat. That doesn't affect the boat. That doesn't sink a boat. It's not the water around the boat. It's the water that's in the boat that sinks the boat. And I think what happens is you can't let negative thoughts get into your head. And it's so easy to do now with the media and what's happening and everything you turn on. There's not a human being in the world that has not heard the word coronavirus, the two words coronavirus. Now, there's people that maybe didn't know who just passed away, or they didn't know during sports, when there was sports on TV, like, and sports was up and running, that who got traded, who got hurt, who's on the injury. There's people that don't know that stuff, right? What concerts coming to your town, it's pending things. Nope, there's people that don't know that. There's not a human being on planet Earth right now that hasn't heard coronavirus. And so I think what it did is it gave people an awareness, but it also freaked people out a little bit. The thing you got to look at is, as you look at the panel on this call today, and then you also look at the $100,000 book that Primerica has, which is this thick, of all the people that make 100,000 plus. You know, we've talked about our company, our system has more people making 100,000, 200,000. And I think what's going to happen is that's going to increase. I was on the computer this morning. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Diamond. His rolling 12 income is $200,000. He works with Josh Huffman out of Dallas, out of Fort Worth, Texas. This guy's a great guy, solid business, makes a couple $100,000 a year. In the real world, that's a lot of money. And last night he was paid in securities. He made $400,000 so far for the month. $400,000. He took his rolling 12 income from $200,000 to $600,000. You know what? He wrote 17 personal security sales. Now, one or two of them were big sales. But how crazy is that in the midst of the world upside down financially, the way people are thinking, because people are ignorant. People aren't stupid, but people are ignorant to information. If real estate dipped down tomorrow by 50%, that's the time you buy, not the time you sell. If you look at, I like to eat lobster. I love lobster. If lobster's $10, $12, $15 a pound, and all of a sudden, Vinny keeps running to the bathroom. If lobster's down if lobster's $12, $15, $20 a pound, which it is, and all of a sudden now I just go to the store and it's on sale for $1 a pound, that's when you buy. That's not when you say, well, it's too cheap, I don't want to get involved in it. So I look at the market right now, and I look at what's happening in the market. It's absolutely incredible. I say all the time, man, people have won. All you got to do is look at, if people have won from the background that I came from, if people have won from the circumstance that I came from, if people have won from this situation that I'm in right now, or I was in, then I can win too. And that's what you got to look at. I used to say all the time, man, you don't know your true potential until you put a demand on it. And I think what happens is, during this time, I think what it does is it makes, you know, we say it all the time, money makes good people better and bad people worse. If you're a great person, you become a greater person when you have assets, because you're able to help more people. If you're not a good person, money makes bad people worse. Well, I think during adversity, I think what happens is it takes winners, and people win during that adversity. It also takes whiners. Winners win more, and whiners whine more. I think what you'll find is there's going to be a huge separation in Primerica. There's going to be a huge separation in the United States of wealth. There's going to be a huge separation in the company. And I think those of us that stay true to the fundamentals and add value are going to be able to do tremendous things. What I wanted to do is I wanted to turn this over to a resource that we've been utilizing in our business, helped us tremendously for 25 years, and that's Vinny Ragusa from Legg Mason. And if you look at what Vinny Ragusa's done, he's the guy that I counsel with if I have questions about the market. And if you know, I have never sold an investment to a client ever that I don't personally have or put my own money into. And just so you know, when Warren Buffett says, right, if you want to get wealthy, if you want to be successful in life, you find out what people are doing, the masses, and you do the opposite. Everybody's pulling money out of the market 3 weeks ago, which is why the market went down. Our family, my wife and I, we invested more money than we ever have in a 7-day period during that crisis, so to speak. And because of that, that's where wealth is gained, when people do the opposite of what the masses do. So Vinny, I wanted to turn this over. If you can kind of give us a little State of the Union address. You've got more investment experience than any one of us right now, and have the resources of Legg Mason and the merger that just happened. If you could take a few minutes out and share with these guys what their state of mind should be and what should they be focused on.
Sure. Thank you, Keith, for giving me the chance to be here with you. What I thought I'd do with and for you is give you a brief introduction as to who I am. I've been working with Legg Mason now for 24 years, so let me step back. Who is Legg Mason? It's an investment firm that's been in business since 1899, manages about $789 billion worth of people's money. And we bring to the investment industry a level of experience. Our average manager has 27 years experience, 17 with our company. What they're really designed to do is let you borrow from our experience, our information, and with the plan, create a successful investment program. And it's important that you realize that all three today will enhance your opportunity for investment success. I call it experience, information, and a plan. Investing is sort of like buying a car. Today, when you buy a car, if you want seatbelts, airbags, or anti-lock brakes, well, you get all three. And in a successful investment program, you get all three: the experience of investment managers, the information that we are going to provide today and on our website, and the plan that Primerica provides. The challenge today, though, is that many people are making bad investment decisions, because what I've heard is investment decisions and decisions in general are made badly when you're either drinking or you're panicking. And many of us today might be doing both of them simultaneously. But what we want to help you do is step back and understand that today is an opportunity for the long-term investor to position their investments properly and gain from what's happening today. So I'm going to take you through a presentation called Learning the Lessons of Time. But what we found in my 24 years in this business, and when I don't have enough experience, I can tap into the great portfolio managers that we have in our company, is that this is not the first time we've had a crisis. This is certainly not the first time that we've gone through something like this, albeit it might be a little bit different today. What you're seeing today is an overreaction to the to basically news, which drives the stock market short term, and earnings, which drive the market long term. So what I wanted to do is share with you the Learning the Lessons of Time presentation, because this is kind of the fundamental presentation that we do at Primerica. What you have to realize is the lessons of time teach us that markets will do what they always do. They're going to trade up and down based on news. News drives the stock market short term. How's the news been lately? Well, what we're finding is many people today might have taken, or maybe a month ago, took in news in small chunks and small bits and pieces. Whereas today, what they're doing is sitting at home and they're watching TV 24 hours a day, or it's on constantly. And what happens is now people are gathering information and making decisions based on, panic. And what we want to help you understand is the dates may change, but the headlines tend to stay the same. The headlines are always going to be something bad has happened in the world, something bad, and the news will probably get a little worse before it gets better. But what's important to realize is if you make decisions long term, you will not get off the train to financial independence today based on what's in the news over the past couple of weeks or what will be in the news over the next couple of weeks. The presentation shows you that we've had incidents before in the past that have caused people to panic. I always talk about this felt a lot like Y2K to me. Back at the turn of the millennium, you had people buying water bottles and generators, gas cans, guns and ammo, getting ready to hunker down and wait for this thing that was going to happen. And then you woke up on January 1st of 2000 and nothing happened. Well, every day we wake up waiting for something to happen here. And fortunately, knock on wood, everybody in our house is healthy. And if we just continue to do the necessary things to stay healthy, we'll get through this. And that's kind of our message, is that every panic is a little bit different. Most people react similarly to them by selling. And what you've had today is a massive rush for liquidity. And usually markets, you can buy and sell different asset classes and hide. Today, everything went down simultaneously. What does that mean? People who had emergency funds end up in a much better place. The foundational accounts that Primerica talks about have always worked and will always work. Life insurance, important. An emergency fund, critical in these times, and a long-term investment plan that is set for your retirement should you survive this, which is an important question. Do you plan on surviving this? Because if the answer is no, then we need to make changes to your investment plan because obviously your time horizon is shortened. But if you plan on surviving this crisis, what do you need to do today to make sure that your investment success is enhanced in the future? What I would suggest is employing a diversified portfolio, dollar cost averaging, and buying on these amazing dips that we're seeing in the market that could last a week, could last another month, could last another half a year or longer. I'm not able to tell you how long it will last, but what I do know is if the market recovers, you're in a better place than most if you dollar cost average. And the last part is discipline. Discipline comes from understanding you got involved in an investment that has a time horizon. If you have not achieved that goal, do not change your investments. In spite of all the bad news that we're experiencing today, and that undoubtedly we will experience in the future, our message, Legg Mason and Primerica, is always get on the train to financial independence, stay on that train, and borrow from experienced people like our managers, like the people who you're going to hear on this call, who have many more years experience than you might have as an investor, with information sources, because every component company has tapped into and is providing information online. I myself get on conference calls every day with our portfolio managers. I'm a resource for you when you have questions. And the last part is a plan. You see, setting up a plan is critical to investment success, because most people today are going about their investments by just throwing money at an idea and hoping that it works. Get to the age that they want to retire and turn around and say, do I have enough? Our job is to make sure that you're on course for your plan and to make adjustments where necessary. What we do at Legg Mason is very simple. We buy depressed stocks from depressed people. Are there any depressed stocks out there today? I would suggest that there are. Are there any depressed people out there? Absolutely. You hear about them all the time. That's why the market has been as volatile as it has been lately. But what I would suggest you realize is if you can buy depressed stocks from depressed people and hold them until this market recovers, you will take your family to financial independence, and you will make an impact today greater than at any other point in many people's career. Our job is to be that investment specialist. Most people armed with their footy pajamas and their PC are trying to make investment decisions today. And what we would suggest is tap into the resources of an investment company like Legg Mason through Primerica. Get yourself an experienced person who has information and can provide you a plan to get you to your to financial success. Thank you, Keith.
Can you hear me, Vin?
Yep.
All right, awesome. First of all, thank you so much for that presentation and that information. Could you just do me a favor for the people that are securities licensed that maybe don't have a contact for you? Can you give that, can you first of all unshare your screen? But if you could do me a favor and maybe give that information out, so if people have any personal questions or personal client situations, you've always been there for our team, for our hierarchy, to help us grow and build, and we appreciate that. And you're always the bearer of good news and so to speak, a truth teller. I always say people don't need to be sold, they need to be told. And that was a great message. Can you just pass out that information?
Sure. Best way to reach me is always my cell phone number. It's 631-786-3606.
And the best time to reach you is between 3 and 5 a.m.?
The phone rings, I pick it up. I've got nothing to do.
You got it, Vinny. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate your help.
Anytime.
Hey, I want to turn this over. I want to pass this on over to Joe Cardino. Joe's a national sales director in the company. A lot of you know Joe. Some of you don't know Joe. Has helped during our New York expansion. You want to talk about turning, adversity into opportunity. Those of you that started building your business in New York always had different stipulations. Anytime there was a change, New York was the last one to have that change. Anytime there was a compensation adjustment. So we're used to it. I always say this, and I spoke to John DeBar about it yesterday. It's amazing. The company is absolutely amazed right now at what's happening with this hierarchy. Blown away. I'm actually doing a Monday show for the company because the company's blown away with how during adversity have we stepped up. And I said, our team's just a tougher team. It's a more resilient team. They're used to this, man. That makes winners win. And so, Joe will tell you his background and what he's got going on and how he's utilizing his Sternex. I'm going to pass this over to Mr. Joe Cardino, Oakdale, New York.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate the time with everybody on the phone right now. Just my background a little bit is I used to be an attorney. I wasn't a lawyer that was looking for a job. I was making a good six-figure income. One of my clients invited me in 1993 to take a look at the business. I was always interested in investments. I started doing it part-time. Eventually, my part-time income passed my full-time income, and I made a career change. Most people don't think that's possible when you would back in 1993, we were making 12, 13, 15,000 a month. That was a lot of money back then. But we started making more money in Primerica, and we made a decision to make a career change, and it totally changed our life. It gave us a lot more free time, and it gave us more income and just a better quality of life along the way. I want to talk a little bit now. I'm really excited about our company. I'm so proud of our company right now because for all practical purposes, there are companies that try to do what we do that are out of business technically right now. They can't see clients. They can't see people. We've been so positioned so well from the beginning. I mean, think about it. We have had turbo apps for a while. We've had video conferencing for a while. Our company was prepared, even though we didn't utilize it as much, to do what we're doing right now, okay? And what happens is I was on a conference call yesterday, and Glenn Williams said that they're going to pay out more money in compensation this March than they did last March. I mean, think about it. Our company is shut down. The whole economy is boarded up right now. No one's making money. No one's doing anything, but we are. We're continually doing that. And on top of positioning us for a time like this, look what they've got. Look at the stimulus that they gave us. We got $49 IBAs, $300 fast start bonus. They extended the time on everything. They put bonuses available for everybody out there. They just came out with, in New York, online licensing. Our licensing was shut down. What are we going to do for business? In 3 or 4 days, they got licensing turned on already. Also, now we just got a bulletin this morning. Now they're going to have e-sign document deliveries. So when we have to deliver policies, we don't have to go and go see people. And listen, where I am right now, this is the middle of it is shut down. There are nobody on the streets. There's nobody in the stores. We've been in our house for 10 days, but still we're doing more. We'll make more money this March than last March. We've done more investments this March than we did last March. How does that happen? Because our company was prepared and it put us in a position for the people who want to win. So number one, I want to talk about how great the company was, and it's unbelievable on how responsive they've been. Number two, I want to talk about how Primericans adapt and evolve right now and how efficient our time can become. Now, I don't think that Zoom conferencing is going to take over how we do business entirely in the future, but I think it's going to remain a very large part. There's nothing as powerful as sitting across the kitchen table live with a couple. But, we had one of our great vice presidents, Steve Rizzi, the other day was doing training. He goes, when does 4 hours equal 25 minutes? He had an appointment in Westchester. He goes, normally I would have drove there an hour and a half, done the appointment an hour and a half back. He goes, I got on my Zoom thing in a half hour. I had done the presentation, took all the F&A data in, and I got to carry back next week that I'm doing on Zoom. So it's amazing how efficient that we've become. And not only that, but we've become national. It's no longer regional vice president. You got to think in terms of national. There's a time years ago, I had a team in Michigan, 10 code numbers. I would fly back and forth. There was nobody there to plug them in. I tried to keep them together. It was impossible. But now networking might become obsolete now. You can work with anybody, anywhere. And the company was so smart in the beginning with no territorial limits, gave us access to everywhere that we have to do. So we also have, Jenny Escobar has been our top personal producer for a while. When this started, we talked about Zoom. She goes, no, I'm just going to sit people across the kitchen table. I'm going to go see people. That's how I do my business. She got 2 or 3 cancellations. She made an adjustment right there. She's a single mom right now. And it's amazing as a single mom. She doesn't have to worry about babysitters. She doesn't have to worry about time back home with the family. She can just go build a business. She's done over $11,000 in premium from home. And she'll probably end up with $15,000 or $16,000 in personal premium this month just from her living room, not having to worry about who's going to watch her child. We have Julie Rincon, a division leader on our team. She has a job. She has 2 little kids. And she moved to New Jersey away from everybody. Doesn't really drive, just learning how to drive right now. You would think that person's kind of out of it. She's got 5 life apps in this month and 2 more she's riding this weekend. So what? Because there's Zoom, because they don't have to get in the car. They don't have to risk their health. They can do that kind of stuff. So Primericans adapt and evolve unbelievably. And then we're really delivering for everyone. I want to think the country, had to do a $2 trillion stimulus bill to help people pay their bills for being out of work for 2 weeks. I mean, we tell people that all the time that, people are living paycheck to paycheck, but the whole entire country is in a tizzy because they couldn't get paid for 2 weeks and our economy was going to collapse from that. Think about that. They need us today more than ever. We've been teaching people how to have emergency funds. We've been teaching people how to get out of debt, how to invest for the future, right? Our clients need us to tell them, just sit tight. The economy is going to come back. Don't worry about the stocks. The stocks are going to rebound. They always do. People are concerned with increasing their life insurance right now. Now there's a real danger going on there. There's a lot of things happening in New York State right now that people want to make sure they protect their family. And think about how we're delivering for our teammates. Those of them that got laid off but have a license with us now have the ability to go out there and continue to do business, continue to grow their team, continue to build it big right now. And the fourth thing I want to talk about is the opportunity today. I'm telling you right now, some huge hierarchy is going to get started right now. There are people that are going to embrace the changes that we're doing. And it's not a whole out change. It's just an additional tool in our tool belt, the Zoom conferencing. Some people are going to embrace this. The teams are going to embrace it. And they're going to put the foundation for an explosive hierarchy. Huge leaders are going to come out of what's going on. Whenever there's a change, I love what Keith said, the Japanese word for crisis is the same as the one for opportunity, right? So there's huge opportunity right now for the people who want to do it, but you got to get to work. And even though you're home, it's not a day off. I've been working, I was talking to Carlos earlier. We've been working harder at home than we have in the office because we're getting more stuff done and we're able to control our time. And other people are just shut down. I'm hearing they're not doing Zoom conferencing appointments. They're doing Zoom cocktail parties, right? They don't know what to do with their time. Not us. We have a future right here. You're with the right company at the right time with the right leadership and the right team. I think what Keith's been doing and the leaders on his phone setting the example, the numbers are unbelievable. You'll hear from some of the other leaders how some of their teams are hiring 50, 100, 150 people a month right now that weren't hiring 20 last month, right? Some people are embracing this and taking it to the next level. I'm letting you know, we're not missing this. We're on top of this right now. We have a big meeting coming up at 10 o'clock this morning where people are registering for Omni. It's just an exciting shift to our business, but it's a positive in every single way. So I want to thank you, Keith, for all you do. I want to thank the rest of the elite team. I want to thank the Crusaders on the phone because you guys make this all worthwhile. We're going to do something big this year and it's starting right now.
Great message, Joe. I appreciate it, man. You always deliver a phenomenal message. And, tying into what you just said, you said you used to fly out to do meetings in Michigan. I remember expanding my business in California. And one of the things that I had to do is I had to fly to California, field train my cousin, get him going, fly back 3,000 miles. Now we're sitting there talking just like if we're sitting in a meeting across the desk right now. I know you're in your house in the Hamptons. I can see that beautiful background, but we're sitting there looking at the opportunity. So, and then you talked about, 2 weeks. I heard years ago, and I used this example in my opportunity for 30 years, that the average person in the United States is 2 weeks from being out of their house. Now, technically, if they don't have income for 2 weeks, they're not out of the house. No one's going to throw them out. No one's going to, they're still going to be able to eat. No one's going to close their mortgage down. But psychologically, they're freaking out because 2 weeks without income, and this is a perfect example of now more than ever, people need to pay attention to the fundamentals that we share with people. You talked about condensing timeframes. I used this example in our training the other night. I used to use the example of 10, 6, 4, 2, 1. If you have 10 appointments scheduled, what will happen is 6 will go through. Why don't the other 4 go through? Because people get caught in traffic. People get sick and maybe they don't feel well. They have allergies and maybe they have a cold and they don't want to give them a cold or cough on somebody. Well, you could still do a Zoom. So you're not going to have that. You also talk about condensing time frames. Especially in New York, I have an apartment in Manhattan. I could drive to Brooklyn. I went to Chris H.'s office one day and it took me an hour and 45 minutes to get there, but it took me 18 minutes to get home based upon what time you have. You could do 4 or 5 appointments and condense timeframes, which is absolutely incredible. I appreciate that message, Bud. Have an awesome meeting today with your teammates. And when you talked about attendance, our opportunity meeting attendance is high. It's higher than it's ever been because what happens is it makes it more convenient. Now more than ever, man, everybody's home. There's no sports going on. There's no distractions. There's no concerts. No one's out to dinner. Everyone is right at their house like you are right now, which is awesome. We're turning adversity into opportunity. Great message. Another teammate who's absolutely killing it right now. And I love what they have going on. First of all, they've always killed it, right? I always say, you can make excuses, you can make money. People right now are going to retract, and people that aren't doing anything are going to do less of nothing. People that are on it and winners are going to win more. And these guys are perfect examples in the company. Number one person of producers. The company was founded in 1977. There's not another human being, not another couple in the entire company. I mean, millions of people have been recruited in Primerica that have written more personal business than this couple, and they're duplicating it with their leaders. Shelly sent me a text message during the week that she's going to do, between Tony and her, they think they'll do 40 personal directs, which is crazy. Never happened in the history of our company. 40 directs this month and 100,000 of personal premium. If I could just turn this over to the range. Tony and Shelly, you guys on with us?
Morning, Keith.
Good morning, guys. What's happening?
Well, Keith, there is so much happening right now in the team, and it's so amazing that you could just compress time frame. That we go in our office in the morning like 9:30, and we leave at 7. And Keith, it's like before you blink, the day is over, because there's so much activity on the Zoom. And Marcia was with us yesterday. She's a part-timer, and her income right now is at $3,500 part-time. And she called a few people yesterday. She Zoomed them. She picked up a few IBAs. She picked up protect a few family. Before, that couldn't have happened. Because the company switched on the Zoom instantly and have us to adapt to keep our business running. We have over 10, 15 RVPs that's going to go over 20,000 in income. We have Guada, we have Nanette, we have Florence, we have Chaya, Pintip, we have Frank Badu, Dr. Ish, who is at the hospital 24/7 with his brother, Big Rudy, already been paid over 10,000. They're going to go over 20,000. And then we have clients who called us, and they have to take money out of their savings because they ain't got no paycheck for 2 weeks. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that they can't pay their mortgage. And because we joined this great company, we have the ability to do whatever it takes. Every night, this great company been paying us $4,000 to $5,000, $3,000 every single night. And because we have this great leaders that's just growing and building, and we have Cynthia who created a 6-figure income this month last week, and she's an RN, and get into RVP is going to finish up with over 20 recruits and 30,000. And we have Helen, who's an RN also, who quit 2 jobs, who's going to finish up with over 10 by 20. And we have Big Rudy, who's going to finish up with 20 by 30. And we have Sabrina and Steven. Steven is a doctor, just started a company, and she's like, she's only like 18, and she's like, Auntie Shelly, I'm Zooming all day long. We have people all over, and we Zoom in the family, and we're picking up IBAs, and we have Jessica and Udesh just started the company, and we have Simone and Tavi, who's an attorney. And Keith, I think this week, it's going to be an explosion. Last week, our base did 30 recruits and 50,000 in premium. I think we could double that this week because we're compressing time frame. We don't have to drive. We don't have to, I just got to let my hair down, put on some lipstick, and I'm ready to Zoom, That should be fun.
Does Tony have pants on?
So we're so excited. I really thank you. As soon as this happened, you said, Shelly, the Zoom going to be the future, not the future, but at least we could still move on with our business. And, we're so grateful for you. A lot of people are not keeping their leaders focused. And because of you, we're going to have our best month ever. We're probably going to close to 200,000 in income because all our leaders are growing their income. It ain't because Tony and Shelly is growing their income. All our great leaders are going to grow their income. Florence, we're here 30,000, and she's a school teacher. Guys, it's unbelievable what's happening right now, and we're just so excited, very excited.
Awesome, great message. I appreciate it. Now think about that, Shelly. Tony, what was your background before Primerica?
I was a real estate broker for 12 years. And, I was sitting in my office one day and my brother walked in and he goes, there's this new company in town. And I think we should go take a look because we were always looking for more stuff to do inside of our office. And, I sat in that meeting, I fell asleep. He said, fill this out. He was making $600,000 a year. I wasn't. So whatever he said to do, we did. Right. So we got started. And then, we actually made $108,000 part-time And it didn't take a big brain to figure out that, you know, that's where we should go full time. But you look at what's going on now, you know, it's easy. It's easy to, when things are going good and the economy is great and the market's up and everybody's doing good, for people to find opportunity or opportunity to find them. But when things are the way they are now, right? There's a lot of opportunity in the adversity. And it's the people that's able to find that and work on that and take advantage of what's going on that's really going to excel. And times like these, there's a lot of millionaires that come out of times like these, you know. And, you know, one thing I know is life's going to happen, right? Crap's going to happen. You're going to have a mortgage bubble. You're going to have 9/11. You know, this isn't our first virus. We had SARS, we had MERS, we had H1N1, right? All these things are going to happen. They're going to come and go. So as much as things are going on around us, it's what's going on inside of us that's going to make the difference. We've been leaving our house every day, right? More than we've ever done. And we go to our office and we spend 8, 10, 12 hours there because we love to be there. Not because we have to be there, because we love to be there and we love to do the things. And we love that we don't necessarily like doing the work, but we like the results that we get from doing the work. Right. And guys, I think we all need to take advantage of what's going on right now. Thanks, Keith.
I love it, man. Great message. You know, I was thinking about it as you guys were speaking and Shelly speaking. I know you were in real estate. Shelly used to sell clothes and stuff. Right now, there's no one buying clothes in the street. There's no one buying clothes in stores because they're shut down. If you're in real estate, I guarantee you there's not people out this morning driving around looking to purchase new homes. Everybody's playing defense versus offense. You'll have your best income month you ever had. Think about Cardino was an attorney. He would make no money in the last 2 weeks in the real world. We have a tremendous opportunity. And that's why we always talk about is we do good when things are good, man. We do great when things aren't good. Great message. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being an excellent example for the entire company. I want to turn this call over now, head into Queens, New York, or he's probably in Long Island right now. I don't know where he's at right now, but his office is in Queens. Doing a phenomenal job. David and Joyce are building a very solid, fundamentally sound business. And we're one of the first people to adapt and hop on to doing these meetings like this, like we're doing right now. I'm just thinking about this, man. I'm so pissed we didn't do this sooner. Where could we have 9 or 10 different leaders all in one opportunity for everybody to watch without having people have to leave their house or leave their office? And I want to turn this over to David Kim and let him talk about what he's doing right now to take advantage of this opportunity.
Hey, everybody. Keith, thank you for this. This is awesome. Very excited about this. Great message from the speakers from before. You know, my background, I've been doing this business for about going on 17 years. And I come from an IT background, information technology. So I guess that's why everybody assumes like, oh my gosh, you know, I have a Zoom question. Let me text Dave because he should know this. But, you know, the truth of the matter is, you know, we're all adjusting. You know, when this happened, we didn't know the severity of it. You know, and as soon as they said you can't get together with more than 10 groups of 10 people, I said, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And when we started looking into Zoom, you know, the technology was there. I mean, there have been leaders that have been using Zoom from way before, you know, but we're all adapting, we're all adjusting. And what we've been doing is, as soon as we started using Zoom, I started trying to figure out the details. And I'll tell you what, you know, doing the first op meeting, doing the first training through Zoom, it wasn't the best, you know, and we've been working through it, you know, and I think, you know, when you look at the times that we're in right now, they always say, there's a quote by Albert Einstein.
I can't hear you.
And he says,
he's muted out.
Can you hear me? Sorry about that. All right. There's a quote by Albert Einstein. He says, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. You know, and when we think about it, you know, I was just reading the stats right before coronavirus hit. Unemployment was about at 3.5%. And within 2 weeks, it rose to probably the highest it's been, to 13.5%. You're talking about tens of thousands of people unemployed in hospitality, restaurant workers. And it's scary, the fact that, you know, people who were, you know, one paycheck away from being behind, like what Keith was saying, you know, it really happened. You know, all the stuff that we've been talking about, having a spare tire, making sure that you have a backup plan, emergency funds, it's for real out there. You know, and what's interesting is during these times, you know, if you think about it, this is the perfect opportunity for us to talk about the recruiting opportunity, because when things are going well, people are on autopilot, they're on cruise control. Things are good, and what ends up happening is they're like, nah, you know what, extra income, that's okay. Spare tire, no, these tires that I got on right now, they're pretty good. So they're not thinking about other things. And I think for the first time for a lot of people, especially like the millennials that may not have remembered 2008 and 2009, for the first time that tree has been shaken. You know, they say shake a tree and the dead fruit drops, right? The ones that the healthy fruit stays on. And so when we're talking about the opportunity, it is just like ripe for the picking. We can talk about this extra income, having a spare tire, and people are actually receptive of it, you know, for the first time in a very long time. So when we're talking about, and you can't get better than the CEO of the company came on and said $49 IBA. How are we not recruiting more people? You know, and then he talked about $300 bonus. He's going to ante up from $200 to $300 bonus. We got to take advantage of it because the times are ripe for the picking. You know, if you said life is like a highway and you're trying to get to your goals, and the vehicle that you're utilizing, it's everything. Because no matter how much of a good driver you are, if your vehicle is crap, you're not going to get to your goals and dreams. You know, oftentimes, like I give the example of my dad growing up. My dad was probably one of the hardest workers I know. Immigrant that came to this country, land of golden opportunity. He wanted to take advantage of this. And he started his own, he was a wholesaler. He sold dried fruits and nuts, and he drove around from grocery store to grocery store, and he worked 7 days a week, you know, and no matter how hard he worked, at the end of the day, he only had 24 hours in a day. So eventually he got tired, you know, and so no matter how hard you're working out there, if your vehicle isn't right, you're never going to get to where you want to get to. And you know, we look at Primerica. Primerica isn't the end all. Primerica is what I believe to be the greatest vehicle that can get you to where you want to get to. You know, so if life is like a highway and you're trying to get to your goals and dreams, and you see this roadblock, and this coronavirus can be a big roadblock. If you get to the roadblock, what do? You're faced with a couple of situations. What do? Do you just sit in your car, put it on park, honk, honk, hey, open up the roads. Why are you closing the roads? I got to get to where I want to get to. You just sit in there in park? Or do you put the sucker on reverse and find an alternate route to get to where you want to? Because I see a lot of people right now, they're using coronavirus as an excuse to stay home and be on vacation. You know, I got an email, and they're talking about like the top 5 most watched shows on Netflix. Who gives a crap? But you understand that people are so like, they're because they're at home, they're watching Netflix, they're catching up on all their series, they're catching up on all the stuff, the leisure stuff, and yet they should be on it. We should be all on it. We should be do double time like the leadership here, you know, Zoom back to back. I love what Joe was talking about. All the leaders mentioned it. You know, you could sit on Zoom and you could do back to back. Oftentimes we call our teammates, and when we're scheduling appointments, we say, all right, make sure you schedule it from 3 o'clock to maybe 4:30, and then allow maybe 30 minutes for a drive time. So we'll schedule another appointment for 5 o'clock. Not anymore. It's like we could condense time frames. We could do 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. We can just compress the time frames, and we can see so many more people in that same day than we've ever done before. So when we talk about the vehicle that we're talking about, the vehicle of Primerica, people say, well, you know, I'm not sure if Primerica is for me. You're looking at it all wrong. Primerica is not the end all. Primerica is the best vehicle to get to where you want to get to. I want to emphasize that more than I can, you know. So if you look at it, Primerica is like a Lamborghini, and we're like driving on first gear right now. You know what happens when you buy a high price luxury vehicle and you just drive it on first gear? You're gonna ruin the sucker. You got to get that sucker on over 100 miles per hour on like 5th gear. But we're not doing that with Primerica. A lot of people are treating this like a little hobby thing. You know, well, and so if we categorize it, we say, hobbies. What do we get out of hobbies? Hobbies make you feel good. Hobbies are something that you do in your spare time because it brings pleasure to you. And when you don't feel like doing the hobby, you don't do it. That's what people do to treat with Primerica. Primerica, people are treating like just a hobby. Like, oh, well, when I want to do Primerica, should I log in? Oh, you guys had a Zoom conference call? Sorry, I missed it. I mean, you treat it like a hobby, it's only going to give you hobby results. But if you treat it like a part-timer, then you make part-time income. What is part-time? Part-time is you put in 20 hours or less. That's considered part-time. But it pays you like part-time then. Most people aren't even putting Primerica with part-time hours. If you think about it, in this past week, while we are all at home, did we even make 20 hours of phone calls? That's part-time. And we can expect to get more than part-time income. And if you treated this like a full-time job, then perhaps you can maybe have an expectation to get paid like full-time people. But in reality, if we want to make what business owners make, you got to put in business owner hours. Regardless of whether or not your store is open or not, your business is open every day in a business like this until your business can run with or without you. So guys, these are very, very special times. We got to take advantage of the timing of it. If you are coming on board right now and you're in your first 30 days or your first 90 days in this business right now, I'm talking to you guys. This is the perfect opportunity. You're going to look back 2-3 years later and you're going to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got recruited during the coronavirus times when this was the perfect opportunity to have gotten recruited. That's what we're talking about. And for the veterans in here, you're going to look back 2-3 years ago and you go, oh my gosh, why didn't I take more advantage of this? This was the perfect time to blow my business up. I can't believe I let it go to the wayside. I can't believe I didn't even study for my securities exam during this downtime. I can't believe I didn't study for my life exam. The moment they open up the windows to take the state exam, we should be all in there taking the exams. We got to use this downtime to our advantage, to our greatest advantage. So teammates, I'm urging you, take advantage of the timing right now because there's no better time. So thank you guys. I'm proud to be a part of the leadership group. And guys, let's kick butt out there.
Hey, David, phenomenal message, bud. I appreciate that. You mentioned that unemployment was 3% and it went to 13%. That was a week ago. As of Friday, it was at 28%. That means 1 out of 4 people that you and I know that we're come in contact with or know that's in our phone right now is out of work, is unemployed or underemployed. What you talk about, hard work, right? It's hard work in the right vehicle. I love that. But while people are home, those of you that aren't life licensed should go. Everyone can go online now, especially in New York, if they opened up, even in Spanish, you can go online and you can get life licensed. If you're not securities licensed, people haven't had a chance to study, you could be studying an extra hour or 2 a day right now. Some of you are going to come out of this 2 weeks later and be able to pass your test and go get your securities license and take advantage of this opportunity. You talked about IBAs being $49. What's $49? So you lay out $49 and then you automatically log on to the app and you get a $50 account, $50 bank in your account, which is incredible. So what happens is you actually get paid. We're actually paying you plus the bonus and field training bonus. You could sit in your home right now and we could be field training people and getting them out making money. People could be banking during this crisis, $1,200, $1,400, $1,800. It went from $200 to $300. People could make $2,000, $3,000 extra while this is going on. Absolutely incredible. Great message, David. I appreciate that. Love to see what you have going on in your business right now. Let me turn this over to National Sales Director, kicking butt, doing a phenomenal job. You look at what his business, Ray and Carol have built a phenomenal business in New York, Arizona, and now Florida. And I was thinking about every time I talk to Ray, I go, what part of the world are you in right now? Because he's always on a plane. He's always traveling. And right now he could have teammates in the West Coast, which is really early for him. He could have teammates on the East Coast, people in Florida, and he could be condensing time frames. Perfect example. His team is absolutely on fire right now. Let me turn it over to Ray Costello.
Thank you so much, Keith. Man, I'm excited to be on this call. I mean, I remember back 20 years ago, Joe Enser talked about one day we'll be able to have conference calls where I could see you and you could see us, and the future is now. We came from a background of New York City police officer, real estate development, and my wife, Carol, my better 7/8 in our business. She owned and ran a hair and nail salon in Manhattan, and we weren't broke. We were making money. We had a decent lifestyle. We had, making money, owned property. And, but when we came to an opportunity, we invited by Roy Lipson, it changed the dynamic of what we could see for the future. And today, our lifestyle borders on ridiculous. I mean, when I think about it, where we came from, how we came to Primerica, I used to work every single day, 7 days a week, sometimes 13, 14, 15 hours a day, going from the police department to construction sites or going to a real estate property or closings and all that kind of stuff. And today, where you can work in Primerica using Zoom, change your life by making a phone call, do a video conference, and then be able to change what's going on with somebody else's life. Because you can get an IBA for $49, which really is free because they get the bonus, the $50 a month. It's unbelievable what can happen for a new person coming in on board today in a company that has everything at your fingertips. And you could get these people that are out of work right now, make a phone call, get them on board, and have them make money while they're home. While they don't have to leave their house to go introduce you to their brother. They can get the Zoom going with them and watch the presentation, get hired, and it's a minor adjustments. Joe and you say all the time, the minor adjustments that a winner has to make are so basic and simple, they appear ridiculous. And that's why most people don't make those adjustments, and that's why most people don't win. But here right now, there's an adjustment period. A lot of the people that are on this call that are listening to what we're saying and actually seeing what we're talking about, and we're in their home right now, they have to adapt. They have to do the minor adjustment. They have to get used to doing a Zoom. They got to get better at it. And like Keith was saying earlier, if you do 15 or 25 of these Zoom calls, eventually you get the hang of it where it's automatic. The same way some of the people on this call, when you first went out prospecting, it was kind of, nerve wracking. You didn't know how to do it. You wasn't sure what to do or how to do. What do you say? The fear of walking up to somebody and saying, "Excuse me," just threw you off. But then after a couple of times, and you did it, now you walk up to somebody, it's no big deal. Well, how about the first time you try to make an appointment before Zoom, right? Before the coronavirus happened. What happened when you made a phone call? You were nervous. That phone, weighed 50 pounds, right? You were nervous. Maybe you didn't know what to say. And then after you did it 25 or 30 times, now you get on the phone, you can make an appointment, no big deal. Well, the same thing's going to happen with Zoom, but it's a minor adjustment. You got to get better. You got to get good at it. And let me tell you something, the future is now. Joe Winter talked about this 20 years ago, but the future is now. Now you could change the direction of your business forever. Just like some of the other leaders alluded to, you could go from one appointment to another appointment, training somebody else in another state. And it doesn't matter, you're on the Zoom. And this is going to revolutionize Primerica. There are going to be people that are going to go from zero to hero. I promise you, those of you hearing my voice, listening, let me tell you something. There are going to be people that get hired in the next coming weeks that will be $100,000 income earners before the end of the year because of Zoom. Mm-hmm. That had a job, that maybe they were a waiter at some restaurant, now they're out of work, or maybe they were working at a dentist's office, they were receptionists, and now they're out of work, and now they get hired by Zoom, and they're going to change their daggum life. That can happen for everyone on this call if you take advantage. The question I should ask all of you is, how many Zoom calls are you going to do after this call? How many Zoom appointments are you going to do today? How many times are you going to get on the phone and do a presentation with Zoom, with your neighbor, with your friend, with your cousin? You could go on social media and get people and have your friends do Zoom. They don't know what you do. They're sitting home right now. Right now, they're sitting home and they're waiting for somebody to talk to. They're tired of watching television. They're tired of having lunch. I mean, the baby boom that's going to happen in the next 9 months. Let me tell you, there's going to be another baby boom, that's going to be called the virus boom. In 20 years, there's going to be a whole new great people coming through the process that are going to be born because of where everybody's home. Okay. And what do? They can only watch television so much, right? But then there's going to be a baby boom. So there's going to be a whole new crop of recruits 18 years from now that could be hired into Primerica to help the I don't know what they're going to call them, virus kids or coronavirus babies or whatever they call it. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you take advantage of this opportunity. You get a chance to win in Primerica. Doesn't matter what you used to do. Doesn't matter where you came from. I grew up on the streets of Spanish Harlem. 22 years of my life, I lived there. Became a cop and married my wife. I love my wife to death. She's just the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And it just changed my life when we came together and got started in Primerica. I got to pinch myself sometimes with the lifestyle that we have. Keith alluded to it, traveling from Florida to New York to Arizona, back and forth, doing meetings, to helping people get trained. Now I could stay in my office at my house and do the same thing without the frequent flyer miles, without, exposing myself to, traveling and going back and forth. And, there's been so many times because of this virus that we sat back and thought about, my God, if I was still a police officer, I'd have to answer calls where people have the virus. And then at night, I'd come home and bring it home to my family. I got to say something about, the police officers, the first responders that are out there, with this virus. It just, when you see one of them, okay, thank them for what they're doing. Because I know that the guy that works at the deli that makes sandwiches, he needs a thank you. Okay. When you order right in and somebody does, give them a little bit bigger tip, because, they're dealing with stuff that you don't got to deal with. You're home with your family. But with Zoom, you could change your life forever. You could change the direction of your future, of your family forever. And we're only talking about something kind of important, your lives. When I think about what you can do if you just make those minor adjustments, and what you can do, because we made adjustments. I wasn't always the happy guy talking to people. I was a New York City construction worker. I used to say words that I can't say on this call right now. I used to talk a little different, but because of this business and our willingness to change and get better at every part that we could get better at by studying. Those of you that are home, that you're not security licensed, don't tell me you don't have time now to get your security license. Now is a time. We should have a rebirth of security licenses in the next 2 months. There should be people that you get security license, people that you got licenses. The people that are not licensed, you should be licensed now because you're home. Instead of procrastinating, watching television or watching Netflix or doing stuff, you wasting your time. Now's the time where you should invest your time in your business so you can change the direction of your life forever. I want to thank everybody. I'm proud to be a teammate on this call. And we got some people that are flat out killing this thing. When I think about Harvey Grahalis, over 250,000. Chris H-Chong will go over 1 million. Fritz and Tiki, Bernard Alerte. There's so many leaders. I don't want to miss any of them. But let me tell you something. In our base, Larry Pena doing what he's doing with Zoom. We got Dave Lamb hired 9 people with Zoom. He never hired 9 people in his whole daggum career. Okay. My son Matthew just flat out killing this thing with Zoom. And don't miss it. Don't miss it. I'm telling you, don't miss this thing. Thank you, Keith. Thank you so much. I just appreciate the team and the ability to get on a call like this. Thank you so much, guys.
I appreciate that, man. Tremendous message. You got me a little concerned about, you talking about baby boomers. There's going to be a huge influx of kids, a lot of child riders getting in and on. We're going to go from Zoom to Boom, which is pretty cool. And, there's a lot of times when people either you can spend time, waste time, or you can invest time. And I think now we can condense time too, with respect to how many times we tell people the Primerica story. Some people are interested, some people aren't. Even in these times, people aren't interested. But now what you can do is instead of doing a 5 or 10 minute napkin presentation for someone to create interest, you could Zoom right now. In 5 minutes, you can create interest. If you're not interested, you can move on. It's either yes, no, or next. I love that message. Carol's on also too. If you want to just take a couple minutes out, he talked about his better half. Carol, you have a minute where you could just kind of share with people. You used to have a hair salon, Right now, you'd be out of business right now, but your business is exploding.
And thank God I'm out of that business. But, guys, that is so true. It's such an opportunity right now to connect with so many different people in not just in your state, but in different states, to have an opportunity to hire people. We have so many people on the team. They're like, wow, I'm going to get a non-resident license here now because I could write some business. I can actually hire some people and expand my business. And it's such an opportunity right now to look at just stuck in one state, but being Zoomable in a sense, like mobile, to be able to move from state to state and build organizations. What's it going to be like when you can have organizations across the US and have such an opportunity to not have to physically go to those different various locations? Like currently right now, we're doing this call today, and there's over 1,000 people connected to hear the message that what this opportunity has available to you. And it's so true. I have a lot of people that I've actually spoken to say, oh my God, I've been home for 2 weeks. I'm just so bored. I need to talk to somebody. So they're more open to hear you today more than ever. And if you're actually a pillar of success and you're showing people that there is hope and there's opportunity, they're looking for somebody, a voice like yourself, on what the future is going to look like and what could possibly happen for them. So guys, I could say right now is we just got to get after this. I mean, even if you're not great at technology, learn how to become real good at it. And it's something that you can actually open up more doors, more opportunity for your family. And it's so true. There's going to be people that had not hired anyone before, all of a sudden hires a bunch of people. There's going to be people that didn't really write a lot of business and they feel it's just a click of a button. And it's such an opportunity. And not only that, the clients are more appreciative that you're respecting their space and they don't feel so pushed into something. So you allow them to see an opportunity that you can connect with them virtually. And by connecting with them virtually, they feel like, oh, okay, it's non-threatening. And it's something that maybe I'm open to hear. So people are listening. Let's get out there. Let's get after it. Let's go talk to a bunch of people and let's do what we need to do to go build a huge business, because the power is all yours. Let's go make it happen. Thanks so much.
I appreciate it. Carol, great message. You talked about Zoomable. I've never heard that word before, but I also never heard the word Zooming either. Just like 20 years ago, nobody ever heard the word texting. You'll see Zoomable will soon be in the dictionary, which is awesome. But, you guys have been doing conference calls every Saturday morning. You haven't, contacting and staying in touch and having accountability with your teammates. So now this is just like an accountability on steroids. It's communication on steroids. It's business as usual, but it's better than usual, like we talked about earlier. Great message. I appreciate that, Carol. I'm going to head over to Lodi, New Jersey office. They're not in the office right now. They're at their house in Oakland. But one of the things that I wanted to share with them, or Ringwood, I want to share with them is, I look at their business right now, and they hopped on this thing right away. They made that adjustment. They went right to Zoom meetings, and their attendance has gone to an all-time high. And I wanted to turn this over to Senior Vice Presidents Carlson, Sarah Salazar, who are having a kick butt month right now. Just had a baby and a little baby girl. And Sarah, it should be illegal how good you look after just having a kid. This is not right. And so we got to find out your health tips too. But I want to pass this over to Carlson, Sarah. We're going to talk about how to take advantage of these times right now.
Hey, Keith, first of all, thank you for having this. This is awesome. I mean, just seeing everybody all over. My name is Carlos Salazar. For the people that don't know who we are, Senior Vice President's been in the business now for 20 years. We started at 22 years old as a college kid. We were going to school for finance at Rutgers University. And when I saw Keith talk about the Rule of 72 and share about how business worked, I was blown away because I had never seen the Rule of 72. I was going to school for business, but they really weren't teaching me to become a business owner. They were teaching me how to become an employee to a business owner. And, when I saw Keith talk about that, he told me, hey, listen, Carlos, if you decide, he goes, you're young and it's an advantage, but it's also a disadvantage because you may not focus. He goes, but if you just latch on to me and do what I say, I promise you in the next 2 to 4 years, you'll be a vice president making a 6-figure income. And I was sold on that because the reality was when I was graduating college and I worked in corporate for 1 year, they couldn't tell me how long it would take for me to make 100. I remember asking that question, and the person that interviewed me said, I don't know. I've been here 15 years. I don't make 100,000. And so I was like, that's the wrong answer. And I knew it. And so thank God that, Keith honestly under promised, but over delivered from the system and the environment he created to help us do that. So we're excited about that. And then this is my lovely wife, Sarah Salazar.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Salazar. I started in the business when I was 18 years old. And like Carlos said, we've been here 20 years. It's gone like that. It's been such an amazing blessing, such a great opportunity. I mean, we grew up in the business, literally. I thankfully never had to experience having a boss because we met and recruited so many people. They told me their experiences. I used to do interviews with people who have been in the corporate world for, years and years. And then just to see what would happen to them, I said, you know what, I'm just going to take their word for it. And I'm going to stick to this business and, support Carlos and let's working this together to eventually, have that freedom of time that Primerica promises, be able to have a family and not to have the sacrifice, events and just spending time with them. And now being here during this whole crisis, we've been able to just kind of attack all those areas. I mean, kids, we have 4 kids, 3 in school, all going to different grades and now doing school in the house, and it's been crazy, but we've been able to do it. And we're just so blessed. I tell everybody, guys, we are so thankful more than ever to have an opportunity that we didn't have to skip a beat. We were able to continue, and not just for us, but for the entire hierarchy. Obviously, the entire Empire Builders are doing the same thing. So many people are losing their jobs, just thinking, my gosh, what are we going to do tomorrow? And to just sit here and know that we can continue and keep this ball rolling. Wow, what a blessing. I mean, there is no better place to be right now than Primerica.
Absolutely. And so I'm going to share some thoughts with you, Keith, today on what's helping us out. But I also want to highlight, David Kim, you heard from him. The New York team, we adapted quickly. And I thank the leadership team that we're with because all of us said, you know what, hey, we got to make a call. We had to adapt right away. And we had been using Zoom prior to this moment, but just to really Zoom our live trainings to people that were either far or in other states. And, Marissa and a couple of leaders in the lawyer office really did a great job with helping us with that. But now it's taken it to a new level. Where really, I'm busier now than I was working at the office. And I remember building New York, and it used to cost me $500 a month just for tolls. And now I could be in New York, I could be in Pennsylvania, I could be in Florida, and I'm spending $0 to get there. So that is exciting. And I also want to give a shout out to the New Jersey RVPs, they've adjusted. I think, as leaders, we have to also be empathetic that, hey, everyone's going to have a different situation. I think everyone here has a different one. Some have homeschool, some don't. Some people have, family that are in the hospital right now. And then we've had different situations. So that, and the reality is everyone's going to react different. But in moments like this, our job as leaders is to connect with people. It's to lead and inspire people. Because the reality is 2001, I joined in 1999, right before the 2000 Y2K bubble and the 2001 crisis. So I ran into 2 years of crisis in the beginning of our career. Yet 2001 was the reason that we exploded into our business. So it was unbelievable that that's really what happened. So I think everyone's got a different situation. We have some great players like Marissa's Bay Shop is killing it right now. They have a lady, Aisha, over 10,000 personal, Keith. She's been in the business 2 months or 3 months, licensed 2 months. So I think it's a moment to take advantage. So let me share some ideas with you. I'm going to share my screen and share some ideas of things that are working for us. Glenn and Emerald actually put this together and it's helped us a ton. And, like I said, all the RVPs are making adjustments. And all the RVPs are doing different things. So just the benefits of Zooms by Emerald, Damien, and Glenn, just to kind of share some thoughts of how we're utilizing it and how the hierarchy has been adapting to it. But remember this, is that, it really is to enhance your business. I don't think it's going to take away meeting someone live. I think that the contact with somebody, having that energy, shaking somebody's hand, looking somebody in the eye can never go away. But I think what it's going to do, it's enhance our business to expand it, to be able to be in different states and to condense timeframes. I mean, to not sit in traffic for an hour and do all that. So I think it's really an enhancement. So I think all of us need to make that adaptation to say, hey, you know what, let me enhance my business. Let me not stop because nobody else is. I mean, our kids are getting drum lessons and piano lessons, Keith, via Zoom, via Google Meet. I mean, everyone is making an adjustment. Either you make an adjustment or you get left behind and your business will go out of business, right? So, hey, one-on-ones online. I've done more one-on-ones for our guys. You know, I posted out there, hey, guys, if you got someone you want me to meet, hey, we could Zoom in right away. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, you're going to have the opportunity to be able to meet people more one-on-one than ever and also meet your leaders one-on-one. And when you meet your leaders one-on-one, it's for you to really, like I said, connect. Before we just talk about numbers with them, we got to connect. If they're not doing numbers or they're not doing anything, what's freezing them? What are they going through so that we can eliminate the fear and the challenge? Because what happens is psychologically and emotionally, when people are watching TV and all this stuff, people that can't control their EQ, their emotion quotient are going to get taken out. The IQ is great, but it means absolutely nothing. It's your EQ that matters, and we got to teach our leaders how to control their EQ. So this is one-on-one is just not just to recruit new people, but also to meet with your teammates. And then, guys, more than ever, this is the moment for you to send texts via emails, texts, on social media, send private messages. I mean, this is a moment to do that. You know, Sarah posted a little bit story. She's in charge of my PR for my Facebook and my Instagram. I'm not really like great and savvy with that. So I have to have a PR person. That's my beautiful Sarah that does that. And so, you know, just from posting a couple of things, I recruited 3 clients this week, Keith. I'll probably recruit 2 or 3 more clients today that saw the post where, you know, instead of working from home has never been better and all this stuff. And if you need, you know, and then all of a sudden, 3 clients that are not sure if they're going to have a job in 2 weeks called me. So I recruited a client who just lost her job. I recruited a soccer coach who's also a client of mine. And then I recruited our car salesman. And I just got hit from one of our principals that, you know, is a client of mine that's a principal that even though he's making money from home, he's looking for an opportunity, right? Also, it's the opportunity, guys, for us to still prospect. I mean, you can prospect from your computer, right? And it's an opportunity for you to do that. So we can't maybe prospect as we're out, because if you're out, maybe there ain't too many people out right now. But hey, it's an opportunity for you to prospect through your phone, your social media. I sent 50 text messages, Keith, to different clients, just saying how they're doing, saying hello. And I posted a little thing, hey, by the way, if you know anyone that's looking to make money from home, let me know. And I got 3 texts back. And those 3 people are going to be guests today, you know? So there's no limitation to where you could do it. Obviously, then op meetings, Keith. We've started doing 3 op meetings a week via Zoom. And then the great thing is some of our guys, hey, I tell them, listen, you don't need to wait for the op meeting. You got the slides. You saw me do it a couple of times. Do your own op meeting. If you got 5 people, 6 people, do your own op meeting. So I think it's going to create independent leaders faster. And I think Shelly talked about that and Joe talked about it. It's going to create independent leaders a lot quicker. So you could have multiple ops a day and going on in different base shops. And you could have your New York, New Jersey teams or wherever you're at plugging in together, right? But it also collapses a lot of time frames, guys. We talked about that. And then I think people are going to feel the energy also regardless. You know, if you really think about it, today's world, they're on social media. People are watching Instagram, YouTube more than ever. So they're used to this. It's us that have been around for a little bit. They're not used to it maybe. But if you really think about it, this is what people are used to. And they get excited about, I see my kids, they look at kids open toys on YouTube. And I'm like, why do you want to see someone open up their own toy? Go open your toy. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what the world we're in, right? And so I think that people are still going to feel the energy. So from some of us that maybe been in the business a bit longer, don't feel like you're not going to get that, because I think you will, you know? You know, also give you a couple of leading questions. I want to give you a little bit of nuggets here to set up a meeting or an appointment, right? One is, you know, you talk to people and it's always like, hey, where are you located right now? This is for you that maybe as you move forward, you know, what state are you in, right? So you're finding these things out. And so this is the question. Hey, what's easier for you? Me coming over so we can meet on a live, or is it easier for me to maybe get you and your husband online? I think it's going to enhance our business to be able to do that. Some people, as we get back to normal, are still maybe going to want us meet us physically, but I think we'll have that option now, where I could say, hey, Keith and Danielle, what would be better for us to grab 20 or 30 minutes? Is it better for me to kind of pop by and show you what I do and we can meet together over coffee? Or is it easier for you guys to just hop online and meet for 20 minutes right from your home? Is that going to be more convenient? I think it's going to give us that opportunity to do that, guys. And so you're going to get an appointment right away. You know, I mean, you're going to get that. And so again, it's just a couple of things here that we're sharing with you. You're going to get referrals. And then I kind of want to just also preface this, guys. You know, I think as we do our business, we got to remember this, guys. When you're going through this, it's very easy to get caught up and your schedule gets thrown off and all of a sudden you're working. But life, your body, your life, your emotions need more than just sitting in front of a computer. At some point, you got to get up, you know, go out with your kids, go get some sun. The body does need some sun. Okay. So I've always talked about the 4 Fs. And my good friend Mervyn Boone told me that, you know, he saw something on Instagram, so I should make an adjustment to 5 Fs because I'm the original, right? Anyway, but you know, if you look at it, we've been talking about this. To me, success is us as leaders. See, people want to become what the greatest leaders become. You always look up to somebody or something. And Keith and Danielle have always been a great example for us. But I look at it, hey, you're 5 Fs, so faith, right? Make sure more than ever in crisis, be grounded in your faith. Whatever you make sure you're grounded. Okay. At the end of the day, all of us are praying to a God right now. I don't care what your religion background is, but make sure that you're still in your faith. And then obviously, guys, family time. It's quality time, right? So, hey, yesterday we took a walk. We rode the motorcycle. Get some air. The kids need it. You need it. And it just refresh your mind so you could go do 3 more Zooms afterwards, right? And then, hey, fitness. Right? Home gym. I mean, you don't need to have a fancy home gym. Just push-ups and pull-ups. Get the iron gym. Sarah does this 10, 15-minute, you know, leg workout that some girl does that makes her more tired than if she went to the gym for an hour. I mean, there's so many things out there on YouTube. All these gyms are doing free stuff for you, right? And then obviously we're working. Hey, we're working. Yeah, we put more money into the market as well. We're working. I mean, you know, prior to this, Keith, I thought we were going to go into Zoom Boom because Sarah wouldn't let me have a computer. So I finally convinced her to let me buy at least a desktop. But she was saying, we don't need TVs and computers. We're fine. You know, and so I figured maybe number 5 would come out. So that's why the 5th F is, but no, I'm kidding. The 5th F is have fun. Have fun with each one. When you're doing your faith, have fun with your faith. Like I'm going to have a Zoom small men's group because men need men to kind of keep growing, right? When you're having your gym, focus on it, put the Zoom, put the phone away and focus on having a good workout. When you're with your family, focus on having it. And then obviously when you're doing, you know, your work. But guys, those are just some ideas I wanted to share with you. Hopefully that helped out. I'm gonna stop sharing, Keith, and I'm gonna bring it back to you.
I got you. You stopped.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. First of all, phenomenal message. I appreciate that. Thanks for being an awesome example in every area of your life. It is crazy though that, you know, you started when you were 22 and Sarah was 18. You guys still look like you're 22 and 18, which blows me away. But the fact is you guys make $500,000 a year and you've been here 20 years. I think about, man, where would your income be? Where would your business be if we had this? Not to take from, but to enhance and add to. You guys would be at over $1.5 million right now. It's just crazy to see what the next 5 and 10 and 20 years is going to look like for everybody on this phone. Appreciate your message, my friend. Stay well and have an awesome weekend. Let me pass this over to Westchester, New York. You know, I look at one of the hardest places that was hit is in Westchester, New York. If you look at, I know you guys always do everything big, but New York's at a whole different level here. And how we're turning, you know, adversity into opportunity. This team is absolutely on fire. So I'm going to pass this over to the leader of New York, and that's building a huge business, and that's the great Roy Lipson.
Keith, can you hear me?
I can hear you, my friend.
I'll tell you what, man, this is absolutely awesome. I'm really proud to be a part of the team. And, you know, first thing I'm thinking about is, you know, America is going to come through this. And I've heard this a bunch of times, but, you know, this is a country of entrepreneurs. And if you look at Primerica, Primerica is a company of entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are always finding a way to get the job done. You know, whether you got to knock it over, go around it, go under it, there's a way. And this, you know, this Zoom thing, it got thrust on us. You know, man who resists change becomes obsolete. You know, and I'm an older guy, but you know, I'm embracing this this Zoom program. You know, one of the things I'm touched by is I was looking at Chris H. Young's picture, and he's wearing a T-shirt that says freedom on it. And I think that's freaking huge. You know, I think all of us that are on this call are free to go out there and build our business. And, you know, if you're a little concerned about your ability to be effective on this, I'm a senior citizen, you know, and man who resists change becomes obsolete. You can figure it out. And if there's other guys in your base shop that maybe aren't that technologically focused, rather than sitting on the couch, you know, doing nothing, get on a Zoom with another friend of yours in the base shop and start playing, start trying, because it isn't as overwhelming as you might think it might be. I can tell you that. You know, one of the things I was thinking about is it has never been more clear to me than it is right now. When we used to do business briefings years ago, one of the things that we would say is the average family in America today is less than 90 days away from homelessness. And if you look at what's going on in this country and the fear and the just so many people stopping, man, we have a job to do that's never been more apparent than what we've got right now. You know, the other thing I'm thinking about is all I have to learn how to do is take my thumb, copy and paste, and send a text with a link to somebody so they can connect with us. And, you know, as I look at the other leaders on the elite team, because those are the only people I could see, it's so comforting to me. I haven't seen Glenn and Zio in a while. I haven't seen Ray and Carol Costello in a while. I haven't seen, well, Cardino, I saw him the other night via Zoom because we were chatting. You know, but Keith, it's just, it really is comforting when we do that. This is just an incredible opportunity. And I thank all of you for this. You know, one of the things I was thinking about is you know, we did a Monday morning managers meeting this past Monday, and we connected up, you know, our base shop, and we wanted to connect up with a bunch of other people. I know that the H-Young team was doing their thing, and there's a ton of people on that. And so we connected up with Ira McSweeney down in Lakeland, Florida, and Maria Marino out in Long Island, and Julio Soto down in Tampa, and Bernard Alerte, and Joey Morales, and Bernard and Aileen, and Joey and Annie, and Myra Vasquez, the visionaries, Donna and Colby. And, you know, what we had an opportunity to do was hear from the different people that were having success with Zoom over the last couple of days. And I think that that's such a big deal, an opportunity. You know, I've been getting a lot of inspiration from being on GroupMe and seeing what Tony and Shelly are doing, and what some of the people in the South, like everybody's doing something. The Sheldon Baptiste, it's just crazy. And I just want to highlight a couple people. You know, in a small part of our hierarchy, we have over 400 people hired so far. We'll end up over 500, and this is mind-boggling. You know, when oh God, I'm losing my mind. But David Kim was sharing early. When I first saw this thing, I was like, oh my God, we can't go into the office. We can't have meetings. How the hell are we going to build our business? We can't go on. And this Zoom thing, we just embraced quickly, you know. But I look at Julio Soto down in Tampa. He's rocking, man. There's big personal activity in the last week. He has a part-time teammate, Umberto, who was in the business about 18 months. He texted Julio a referral. Julio jumped on it, did a one-on-one via Zoom, and hired a teammate for his guy, Umberto. He has a new teammate, Makia, who's licensed for 10 days. He did one Zoom training appointment and sale for her, and her first week license, she closed 2 life apps with Zoom on her own. Julio has another direct named Nika in New York. Now he's in Tampa. She contacted Julio to do a field training appointment for her friend in New York via Zoom in Tampa. He closed the life app. You know, people are talking about you don't have to get on a plane. This is crazy. You know, Julio is 4 by 6,000 personal this week. You know, they just had a funeral for his dad a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. It's crazy. You know, he hired a new direct in Tampa, Danny Vargas. Danny's a DJ in Tampa. Not a lot of gigs for DJs these days. And he got started in the business. His first life app was his own, which was, you know, $500,000. Danny and his wife just had a baby last night. He's got a whole new life ahead of him because of Primerica. You know, Julio had like a lot of us use the company. Look, we're in business for ourselves, but not by ourselves. And the company has a program called Advisor Stream, where we're able to send out technologically emails to all of our clients. And one of the clients that Julio had sent them an email because she was a little concerned. He followed up, increased her investment, did a new 1,000, and did another life app. You know, got another referral from New York. Another prospect, another life app from Tampa in New York via Zoom. I think he's got a bunch of other people coming up that are going to get hired from all the Zoom appointments. I was speaking to Colby Romero last night. Her team's on fire. You know, she lit up our managers meeting this past Monday. You know, the word I hear from her is follow up. You know, she followed up with an old prospect. She followed up with an old teammate. She followed up with an old guest from a couple of months back. And all three of them got hired via Zoom. One of them's already got a license. Colby helped a bunch of families via Zoom, you know, life app, 8 mutual fund packs, you know, the V3 team, you know, they're going to double digit this week. They've never double digited in a week. Colby's excited about our leader, Rafael Soto, who's going to double digit this month and he get a district promotion. He hired 4 directs this week. 2 of the directs hired new directs. One of them, Andres, hired 2 people. You know, this kid Raphael is still employed. He's working in a supermarket, and he's doing 6 or 7 Zoom appointments today, each day. Don't tell me that you can't get something going. I understand Juanita and Sean Jackman under Donna Fikes closed 3 life apps for 3,600 month to date via Zoom. In our base shop, Lolita Bray has been a beast with Zoom, doing a bunch of meetings. I can't keep up with her, man. She hired a new direct, Darren, and she invited 3 guests for him. 2 hours later, did another Zoom briefing, and Darren hired his first direct named DJ. She's written 1,600 premium. She's doing more now because of Zoom than she used to do before. She's helping teammates on our team that are brand new, like Ari. Ari had 12 personal guests this week on Zoom. He's got 15 scheduled for our briefing at 11 o'clock, and we're going to hire a new director. I did an appointment for him yesterday, and we're going to close the life app later today. Hired a guy, Suzette Rivera, in our base shop, did 2 Zoom life apps this week. And since March 10th, has done 2,700 personal premium via Zoom. She's also helped a number of teammates with presentations. I saw that Myra closed 2 Zoom life apps. Jeanette Matry closed 2 life apps. I mean, there's so much going on. There's so much opportunity for us to take our business to the next level. Keith, you know what? It's like, I feel like a kid in a candy store. You know, we're going to win. Primerica's going to win. The Empire Builders are going to win. And I'm just proud to be a part of a team that does something special every single day. We change people's lives. Don't forget that. And we're going to help a lot of people. We're going to invest a lot of people's money. A lot of people who are investing right now are going to accumulate wealth 5, 10, 15 years from now. They're going to call you up and they're going to thank you. I'm done.
I appreciate your message, bud, and thanks for an awesome example of all the people that are stepping their game up and winning. You know, we're looking at your behind you on your picture. I think it's the first time in history we've ever had a Grateful Dead poster right next to a Primerica Championship team poster. So you are definitely not a millennial.
Oh,
You don't know who Jerry Garcia was. But I appreciate your message, brother. You know, you talked about all the different locations that are going on right now. You know, I look at we got Connecticut on the phone, New York on the phone, all over New York, all over Connecticut, all over New Jersey, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Florida. We even got teammates from Canada on the phone with us today. And there's a bunch of other states that are on the phone. Where else could we do this and have a live training room, which is unbelievable? I'm going to pass this over to a teammate. You know, Mervyn Boone posted something on social media. How many different countries or how many different cities have you been in? And the average person has 8. I think Chris and I were like close to 100 different places that we've been to because of this great company. And Chris is someone who has embraced the opportunity and using Primerica as a vehicle to do exactly what his shirt says, man, and have freedom in his life. So I'm going to turn this over to Senior National Sales Director, whose team is absolutely on fire right now, Chris H. Young.
What's up, Coach? Thank you. Hey, guys. Excited to be on the call. We're going through a crazy time right now, but what you're seeing is a lot of people just stepping up and a lot of people adjusting. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to have a little fear, but make sure that you're productive and you're doing the right things with your time. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of doing the right things and being focused. I just want to spend a couple minutes with you guys and talk a little bit about the Primerica story, which I think it's funny. We went to Bahamas just the other day, and we was gambling, and we won a bunch of money. By the way, people that gamble, they only tell you when they win. They never tell you when they lose. They don't gamble. Right? But the fact is, there's odds in gambling, and the cool thing about Primerica, there's odds in Primerica. I understand we got to get good at our craft and all that cool stuff, but it's how many times a day you get a chance to tell the Primerica story. I recruited a guy on the phone yesterday. I didn't do the Zoom thing. I just, I spoke to him over the phone. Then I had somebody do the Zoom and picked up his IBA and all that stuff. But, the guy worked at the nightclub. He did what do you call it? He got people to go to nightclubs. I forget what you call them, he made $8,000, $9,000 a week doing that, promoted for a nightclub, actually, for a bunch of nightclubs. Lavo and all these, high-end bagatelles, all that stuff. But now he's making nothing. And the challenge is he doesn't know when he'll ever make money again. If those places will even survive. So he's in a tough position. Like a lot of people, he made money and spent all his money. He just, he's in a really terrible position. But he's ready to do business. And just like a 10-minute conversation, he's able to get him into business. And so what I'd like to do is share that conversation with you. For some of us that haven't challenged his transition into, going into Primerica, what we do is so relevant and so important. And as a matter of fact, right now, it's more relevant than ever. People really need what we do. So it's okay to be frustrated, but the goal is to actually stay productive, okay? So there's 3 areas we must work on every single day, in our life, in our financial life, okay? And this is where how Primerica, and I'll talk a little bit about Primerica when I finish covering these 3 areas. But this is for the world. This is for people. There's 3 areas that we got to focus on when we to have a satisfying financial life. The first one is income. We need to focus on income. The cool thing is we need to have income, consistently coming in. Like this guy, he lost his income. There's no way he can get that income. Income is what pays the bills. Income is what helps us, preferably a high income, okay? And we want to have also a growing income. It's how we survive. It's how we pay our bills. It's how we live. Okay, so we need income. And in our business, we talk about the grind, sales, production, work ethic. Whatever it takes. Different. We got all different types of stuff. But you and I, we should be really clear. And that's one of the first things we focus on every single day is income. I think what's cool about Primerica is we make money every single day. What's cool is you can make money every single day in Primerica. There's no you don't have to wait 2 days or 3 days or 4 days to get paid. You get paid every single day, okay? The second thing that you focus on in life when it comes financially, so after focusing on income, and that's where he stopped. He stopped focusing on income. He just focused on, making money. But that's not the secret, okay? The second thing is passive income. What we want to do is focus on having a passive income. So if our income happens to stop, from the things that we're doing, how much passive income, whether it's through real estate or having different income streams, different Primerica businesses, the more income streams you have, the better. Okay? If we took you out of the equation right now, how many income streams do you have? If you got out of the equation right now, we took you out of the field, we took you out of how many? For some of us, we're realizing, man, we're not in that good of a position. We got to make sure when we get out of this thing, we will, that we no longer fall into this position where every day we just don't focus on income, but we focus also on what? Passive income. Okay, and then the third goal is financial wealth. Okay, financial wealth is where you have 2, 3, 4, 5. Like how many years can you survive? Who uses savings right now, and you didn't make another penny? So God forbid, number 1, number 2 fell apart. Your income fell apart, your passive income fell apart. How much wealth do you have that you can live on? I asked the guy, says, if we had to live on your savings, how many years can you live on your savings? And I think I could live maybe 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 years on my savings. I might have to hold my lifestyle, completely, to be be able to do that, but there's a lot of challenge. There's people on the phone like Otto, probably a couple other people that they can live the same lifestyle for 20, 30 years. Okay. So that third area, by the way, is important than the first two. The first two are important. That third area is the most important. Right? So we got to put a game plan together to get that financial independent happening. So equating it to the business. So now I'm recruiting the guy in the business. I go over that with him and I said, let me tell you a little bit about Primerica. Our number one is that, the 3 areas when it comes to, is that you make immediate income in Primerica. You make high income in Primerica. Very high, immediate, quick income. You get some financial licenses. This is a 10-minute conversation I had with him. You get some financial license, you learn a new skill. Are you open to learning a new skill that pays really well? Yes. Okay. And you get paid every day. How do you feel about getting paid every single day? The second thing we'll work on, other than just your income, we'll also work on what we call your passive income. The cool thing about Primerica is they'll hire you as an agent, but one of the things they do is they allow you to hire other agents. And when those other agents get paid, they send you a check too. So how do you feel about being in a position where, one, you become an agent and you learn a skill, but then secondly, we can help you hire some agents that could be in your business. The difference between a lot of other financial companies, they just focus on agents. What we do is we allow our agents to get agents. Okay, that's why we're the biggest. Okay, and so now you have the ability to make money if you do something, but if one of your agents do something, you get paid too. Okay, and by the way, the bigger your team is, we have a bunch of licenses. The bigger your team is, the more money you'll make. Okay, so so I'm identifying with him directly that we need to focus on two things, not income, and we also need to focus on getting promoted, which is that passive income. And last but not least is financial wealth. What we have to get good at in this call, especially the leaders, is we can't just do presentations anymore. Presentations has to turn into closes. Presentation has the trend. We're in a transition business now. We're not in a setup business. We're in a business where once you get a person on the phone, we got to get everything done as much as possible today. We can't wait for next week. This is not a hold on to your referrals business. This is where you turn every IBA into 3 IBAs. You turn every life app into 3 life apps, every close into 3 closes. Appointments should go into another appointments immediately, okay? And that third area is how you actually get them to transition from just being a recruit. Internal consumption is going to be one of the biggest parts of our business, as we move forward, in my opinion, okay? So the first two is awesome, okay? But the third one is really what you want to have. So tell me a little about, what can we do to make sure that you get on the game plan so you become financially independent and you go after that third one also, because we know we're going to work on the first one. We know we're going to work on the second one. The third one, tell me what do you have going on right now that's going to help you retire? Tell me what do you have going on right now that if something happened, God forbid, your family would be comfortable financially, and they won't have to worry. Tell me about your insurances, just direct conversation. And all of a sudden now, so let's put some numbers together and help you put that in place. So I'm not just recruiting them, but I'm recruiting them. I'm also talking to them about growing and getting people, meeting people. Who can we talk to in the next 5 minutes? If I gave you 30 minutes, who can we talk to in 30 minutes that we could Zoom and talk, show them what you're going to be doing in your business. So it's really just a matter of just reflex. Okay, it's not a let's set up. We're not in that era anymore. We're in the era of how much can you squeeze out of today. For most of us in this phone, we're not in a position where we can let momentum slide. To be direct, for a lot of us on the phone, we're not in a financial position where we could slow down. Okay, you're not Otto, you're not, Cardino, you don't have their money. I understand that, okay? We've all been there. So we got to make sure that we're a little more productive. They can do what they want to do, but you and I, we got to stay exactly 100% focused. We got to put in that time. Everybody's where they at, okay? It's a fact. So let's get really clear on those 3 areas. One is, your income. We need to make money immediately. Then, 2 is, putting together a game plan so you get some passive income coming in, building a team, getting promoted. And then 3, let's put a game plan together for you to become financial independent and have 5, 10, 15 years, money saved up, millions saved up. You got to leave a legacy behind. You get a chance to do. I think we're in an awesome time. We're in a leadership time right now where we need leaders to step up and just, we need every single person in this phone. You need to put aside your own feelings and you need to be the rock for your team. You need to be the rock for your family. You need to be absolutely 100%, focused, and, make sure that you take your family to the next level, bring them through this. Man, this should happen. We know this should happen. This stuff happening left and right, hearing about stuff all day long, but you got to be the rock. There's a lot of people that's dependent on you. Keep that momentum going. We're excited to be a teammate. Love you guys. I appreciate you. Let's keep rocking, guys. Thank you.
Chris H. Phenomenal message, buddy. And not just theory, fundamentals of what you're specifically doing and what people could do, not next week, they could do as soon as this call ends in a few minutes. We got one more speaker we're going to go to, but the awareness is at an all-time high, right? Either people are working or money's working for you. And it's just an awareness, a commercial every single time you turn the TV on about what we do for people. People need to have more money saved, have a financial house in order, and people need to have their distribution business built so that no matter what happens, you don't skip a beat. Great message, brother. I appreciate that. Appreciate the example you guys are leading with. Next couple that's going to close it out right now for us, doing a phenomenal job. By the way, there's over 1,000 people plus that registered on, plus another 1,500 or 2,000 watching this on YouTube right now. This is being recorded, so we're going to be able to have this for everybody because I think this is a phenomenal training video that people can utilize going forward in their future. But Glenn and CEO's business absolutely hasn't stopped. It's stepped up. All their RVPs, all their leaders have stepped up. They'll put their 9th diamond on this month, which is incredible, en route to their $1 million ring. So I'm going to turn this over to Senior National Sales Directors Glenn and CEO Lee.
Thank you so much,
Hey
Keith.
guys.
Hey guys, and thank you for having all the elite team speak, and you guys just inspire us and motivate us, and hopefully that's going on across the nation as guys are on this Zoom right now. A few things that I wanna, Keith, you started the call with everything better, and I really believe the first tip I wanna give is, we really have to sell guys on everything is bigger, everything is better, because it really is. Our business isn't stopping, our business is exploding, and we really have to make sure that guys understand that we're reaching out to guys. The second tip I wanna give is stay organized, with us, nothing changes. We're still doing invites. Like today, we're doing a super op meeting via Zoom. So nothing changes. How many guests do we have invited to that? How many KTs do we have set? So we really need to stay organized. How many people do we have going through the process in licensing? One of the things after this, I'm going to go on and see which teams are online and which teams are having, who's registered for their online classes. And then the third one is be careful who you lend your ear to. There's the news, there's, parents, there's, people just saying a bunch of things. A lot of it is not even factual. Be very careful who you're listening to and who you're lending your ear to. Just yesterday, in 45 minutes, Glenn was in a meeting with a client via Zoom. Within 45 minutes, I was reaching out, guys, on our advertisement handbook on Primerica Online. You don't have to be super creative and invent your own stuff. Primerica already has, company approved ads or, phrases that you can use. And what I was doing was I was copying and just sending them to some of my high school friends and people that I knew that maybe before weren't interested in the listen, within 45 minutes we did one by one. I recruited a direct at 1,000, and we have 8 people invited for today. That's just within 45 minutes of the guy. There was no hesitation. It was like, I need what you guys do. I want to come back on board with you guys. And so guys, reach out to people. Don't be a secret agent. Today on our super op, we have Magda. And Magda, who's going to be doing part 1 of that, guys, she's about to put on her ring. Think about it. This month alone, her income is at an all-time high, about to break 10,000 in income and hitting that ring, that milestone. Marquise will be closing it out. Another superstar who'll be putting on, not closing it out, he'll be doing part 2, and Glenn Lee will be closing it out. And as I pass it over, guys, to Glenn, I'm so proud of who he is and what he stands for and what he's doing, so mentally tough. I think that's one of the things that when I think of Glenn, that comes to mind. He's so mentally tough, and I'm just thankful that he's in my life and he's doing what he's doing and leading by example the way he's doing. So thank you, Keith, for doing this, and thank you, Elite Team. Love you guys.
Hey, thanks so much, babe. Hey, you come in the camera. She makes me look better. But one of the things that first of all, the Zoom adds an extra 20 pounds to you. Okay, I haven't seen myself this way in a long time, but it's awesome because first of all, we're amongst the room. Like, we haven't had this many people on. I mean, I'm talking about the elite team since the last leadership school, and it's such a great idea to feed off each other and be able to communicate with the team this way. And I love the fact that we're part of a company that has the leadership that does, from Glenn Williams all the way down to the sales force and the leaders in the sales force, because you guys keep us focused. You know, we talk about social distancing. I think the people that we really got to socially distance, even after this whole thing, is going to be all the negative people. You know, it's funny how so many different people, you know, I get phone calls from my mom, I get phone calls from my dad, you know, did you put on your mask? Did you do this? Like, what? Did you sell everything in the market yet? And it's just a barometer of the difference between, let's say, a Keith Otto way of thinking, you know, where Keith talked about, you know, he invested almost $1 million in the market over the last few weeks. And then my mom, you know, who has no money in the market, tells me to sell everything in the market, you know. And it's just crazy because, you know, we've been in this business for 21 years, and thank God we had the right people in our ear, you know. And I just want to thank the elite team for all of this. Okay, so number one, first of all, you know, CEO talked about adversity. I think that during adversities, you know, you got to intensify. It's intensity during adversities that happen. It's not, remember, don't do, like, Zoom is awesome. It gave us a whole new perspective, and we're going to keep doing this. It adds onto our business, right? But don't do it because it's easier. Do it because it adds on to your business. You know, I think a lot of times, you know, the habits are getting formed right now. Habits are being created right now. And that's why CEO and I were always out of the house. You know, I heard Carlos talk about that. I heard all the leaders talk about that. But we've been in the office every single day. You know, now, I mean, do you take precautions? Absolutely. Okay. But, you know, I got my Perel, whatever it is, but I've never been a germ freak anyway, you know. But the point is that we've been here every day because I want to keep it normal. I want to feel normal. I want to be in my office so it could change my state of mind. You know, I think a lot of times, you know, you hear about all these statistics. There's more people, you know, killing themselves at home right now, you know, or killing their spouses because they've never been around their spouse this long. And there's more of that happening than this virus is actually killing, you know. So it's crazy the way that we can always look for reasons why things are not where it needs to be. I think that you know, I heard a leader say, you know, weak people, right, always find reasons to stay weak. You know, always find reasons. If it's not the coronavirus, it's going to be babysitting issues. It's going to be everything. There's always going to be something that's gonna stop us from becoming successful. You know, and so we got to intensify during adversity. Think right now. I was going to write this out, but number two, it's the 3 R's. You got to make sure that you retain. Keep in communication. You know, I love what all the leaders are talking about. You know, they keep in communication with your team. I think the most important thing, one of the most important aspects of Zoom, other than just the client side of the business, you know, or recruiting side, is the fact that you can stay in touch with your team. You know, during these times, the newer guys, it's not just about getting the IBA. It's about setting up a time to get back together with that person to stay in communications. Otherwise, they're going to quit the business. Remember, the IBA is $49 and it's easy to get in. Okay. So, but if it's easy to get in, it's easy to get out as well. So as leaders, we got to make sure now we got to drive, we got to recruit like never before. You know, I take a look at some of our teammates right now, Jimmy and Eileen, 70 recruits right now. You know, Marquise, 30 recruits. 30 by 20, and Mikey and Zenny right now 30 by 30. But we also got people in our base shop that are double digiting more than ever before. It is the $49 IBA, right? It is the $49 IBA. It's the Primerica stimulus package, and we got to use that to our advantage. But even right after that, man, within 24 hours, we got to meet with them immediately, right? Meet with them in Zoom, and it's even easier than ever before to meet with people, get back together with them, okay? Because it is that distance that stops most people from getting back together, or that travel time. Okay, so we got the 3 R's: retain, revive, and replenish. Okay, we got to retain people. We got to communicate with them more than ever before, right? Every time you decrease contact, you got to increase communication, right? Maybe you increase. Maybe you're not with somebody right now. Maybe you usually meet with them in groups, but we got to bombard that, man. For every 3 Zooms, that's equal to one face-to-face meeting. Okay, so the great thing is we can control how many Zooms. Like yesterday, well, I met with people back to back. Took a page out of Tony and Shelley's book, right? but it's so easy to get in touch with clients, right? Carlos did a great job. Carlos Cesaro did a great job talking about it, but just sending out messages to people. Hey, how are you doing? How are you doing? Hope all is well. And I just went straight down my list on my phone. I went down the A's and then the B's, the C's. I went throughout the whole alphabet. And by the time we got to like the J's and the what comes after J? Okay, well, but after that, it's almost like, man, you're bombarded with communication, and it's almost like, hey, listen, would you mind if I'm going to send you a link, just hop on. I don't even tell them what it's about sometimes when you're talking to your old teammates, right? So we've been communicating with old teammates, right? I heard Roy Lipson did a great job talking about old teammates, old referrals, old prospects. People are there right now, right? So we got to revive. It's a great time to revive old people, right? Not old as an age, but maybe some of our recruits that have been gone for a while, because they're all at home right now. It's a great time to go reach out to them. We've recruited 3 or 4 people back, just CEO and I, that were in the business before, that wouldn't show up to an op meeting because they got things going on, but now they don't have things going on. So now it's our chance to get them back in the business. But then right after you get them back in the business, 24 hours, get right back to them as well. Replenish your supply. Okay, let me draw this out real quick. Okay, but when you take a look at this, right? We talk about the market. You know, Vinny Ragusa did a great job talking about the market. But if you take a look at the market right now, and I want to kind of relate this to recruiting, but let's say when you talk about dollar cost averaging, let's say this is February, right? Next month is, well, this month is March. Last month was February when this whole thing started, right? April, right? And basically the market has followed this whole virus thing, right? And it's based on people's emotions. But right now, if you invested $100 last month, if you invested $100 into the market, and if the price was $10, right? And I've seen Keith do this. I've seen so many leaders talk about this, but the number of shares you would have, okay, would be 10 shares, right? Because 10 times 10 equals 100. But let's just say the share price drops down to 2, right? What do most people do? They stop investing in the market. What do most people do when there's adversity? They stop recruiting. What do most people do when there's adversity? They stop showing up. They stop communications. But what if we invested another 100? What if we invested the same, just the same amount of effort in, right? At $2, now you're retaining 50. Now you have 50 shares. But then let's say the market, it's like a V right now. I heard somebody talk about because we can't predict the market, but we know it's going to come back up. Okay, and history has proven that. Okay, it's not guaranteed, but it's going to come back up. Not guaranteed, but watch. If once it goes back, if you put in $100, right? If you put in $100, right now you gained that 10 shares back. But after 3 months, you've invested $300, and now you've accumulated, right? You've accumulated 70, and at 10 now your portfolio is now valued at 700. See, if you invest the same exact energy, right, maybe more to get the same, but if you invest the same thing, when times return back to the way they are, you're gonna come out with more people than ever before. The moment we start selling shares, the moment we stop recruiting, right, we're gonna lose a lot during this time, and then watch, you'll see people come out of hibernation after this whole thing is over. I don't know if it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. I don't care if it's 2 years, whatever it is. When they finally come out of hibernation, like my mom, she goes, take money out of the market right now, and when take money out of the market right now, but when she goes, it's crazy because she goes, I'll let you know when the market's back up. That's when you put money back in. See, people don't think right at these times, right? I'm looking for the erase button. But if you take a look at, we're not talking about investing the same time and energy. What if we took time, right? What if we invested even more? Let's say if you put at the same 100, right? 10 is 10, but what if the second month you put in 200? See, right now using Zoom, you could accumulate more people. Why? Because you can, it's so easy to recruit somebody over Zoom right now with the $49 IBA. I don't like, all you got to do is point and click right now, right? Just share your screen, share your presentation, point and click, everybody's coming aboard, right? So watch, if at $2 a share, Now you have 100 shares, right? Now 300, right? If you put $300 in the market, right? $10, it's going to return, right? It's going to return. Now all of a sudden, right? You get 30 shares. Now you accumulate. See, it's not how much each share is, it's how many shares you accumulate. We've always been taught that, right? It's not how much, what people are doing right now. It's intensifying and going, and the people, for us that are working, we just got to go get more people, right? So if you have 140, now all of a sudden you invested 600, but your shares, right? Your portfolio is now 1,400. Think about growing this thing exponentially, right? Think about growing this thing exponentially. And so if you take a look at, how do I unshare this? Okay, let me unshare this. Okay, so if you take a look at, okay, let me unshare that. Okay, thank you. But if you take a look at the market right now, right, it's the same thing with our business. We got to invest more time in our business. We got to build more people at this time. People are open right now, right? Everybody's open. Everybody's doing what they need to do right now. Like we got people that are stepping up, like Kaylin in our business right now, right? Already 4 direct recruits, right? But she said she's gonna get it up to 10 by today, but over 16,000 in personal premium, right? Her business is over 10 recruits by close to 20,000 in premium, right? But remember, winners are always gonna find a way, right? Whether you have to go through it. If you can't go through it, go over it. You can't go over it, go around it. You can't go around it, go under it, right? But the leaders, just like the elite team, we're going to find a way to make this thing happen. And by the time that this is all over, that's when the new superstars are going to be created. There's going to be a whole new wave of brand new people that are going to come out of this age of the corona, whatever it is, right? But but think about it. How many of us are going to override those guys right now, right? So thank you, Keith, and the rest of the elite team and everybody that's here for giving us the time. And we're excited, man, about these times, and we're going to explode this thing, man. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Phenomenal. Systems, follow-up, and accountability is what CEO talked about. Intensity during adversity. You gave some great examples. And I think all the elite team gave great examples there, and appreciate your leadership. I know a lot of us are going to be hopping on a call. We went a little bit long, but it's a lot of great information. We're recording this, so we'll be able to send this out to teammates that weren't able to get on here. But just in two minutes wrapping up, I mean, we have an awareness now more than ever, guys. Everyone is home. Everyone needs a financial game plan. It's a commercial every single time somebody turns on a TV or the radio. Everyone knows they need life insurance right now. So there's a great opportunity for us to follow up with existing clients. No one should be lapsing policies. QBI should be going through the roof. There's an awareness. Old agents, old associates, everyone who's got an investment. If you choose to, you could have more place to go than you have time to. Everyone is home to take a phone call. This is when people need coaching, man. Now more than ever is when they need coaching. Why people need to eliminate debt, right? Chris H. Young talked about living off your income. Well, if you got a lot of high debt, a lot of fixed debt, not variable debt, toys and stuff that you do in travel, fixed debt, you got to eliminate fixed debt, right? We heard today, spare tire. Now more than ever, people need to have a spare tire. Why you want to own your own business? How awesome is it that our business is recession-proof? This is just an example of how our business is recession-proof. Also, multiple sources of income. Not just in your personal life, you need to have multiple sources of income. You need to have multiple sources of income in your business. You need to have a securities business cranking. You need to have a life business cranking. You need to have debt elimination. You need to have F&As. It's an opportunity. You got to learn how now more than ever to duplicate yourself and put more hours in your day. Right? I love the message of what we're doing right now. What should we be doing right now? We need to have a sense of urgency while the world has a sense of emergency, right? You need to call people up like Chris talked about, like Glenn talked about, like all the leaders talked about, and say, man, I need to, now we need to be telling the Primerica story now more than ever. We can do that. We can sit down with you personally. We can do that over the phone. We can conference you in. When we're back in our office, when we're back up and running our office, the message has to be, hey, you can come to my office, we can come see you, we can do it via internet, right? We get now more than ever, people need to review their game plan, talk about making extra income. Folks, I love the messages today. I love how the leaders stepped up. I said there's going to be a huge separation. Winners are going to win and whiners are going to whine. People that aren't doing anything are going to do less of anything. People that are on it and engaged are going to be put more time and energy into the business. Now more than ever, it's time for us to explode. The next few days, month end is Wednesday at midnight. The next few days could be the greatest activity of your career. There's not a person on this phone that cannot double digit personally between now and Wednesday if you take it personal. Guys, now more than ever, it's time to go build an empire. Love being in business with you guys. Let's go kick some butt. Have an awesome weekend.
Thanks a lot, Keith. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you.
You are the man.